Hey folks, so just wanted to talk about my latest project, which was kind of doing a woods port here on my Echo CS-7310. It says P, but I bought aftermarket wrap handle here to actually make it PW. So one thing you can do there, I would just recommend if you're going to use for falling, just get the PW right from the get-go rather than having to buy and put on the wrap handle after the fact. But regardless, that's how I kind of stumbled upon that one. But a couple things I've been doing with it and tinkering, and not the expert here, just taking advices from a couple other videos and stuff that I've seen, and folks that sell products that do the quick mods and kind of things like that. So just a few mods here that I got done on it, and pretty much that's probably going to be all I do, because try to make it anything more special than that, just not the professional at it. So this is all stuff easily. I mean, I'm kind of just a guy off to the side doing this work. So this one is all possible with just a Dremel, and that's pretty much the tools there. And a couple other little things, obviously, there, you know, scratch and stuff, and all the other torque screws and all that stuff you need to take on and off of parts. But without further ado, I'll kind of pop the lid and take a look at all these things. So, like I said, there was the wrap handle already added, but then under the hood here, I was actually went through and tinkered around and stumbled upon. This is all, I believe, I gotta think about that again. I believe this is Redbeard, the modified air intake stuff. Actually, how I got this to happen, I had to do some tinkering because there's not a direct connection for the carburetor to an air filter like this available anywhere that I've seen for the 7310. But what I used was actually down there a Husky part that actually connects down onto the carburetor that I had to do a little bit of modification on, just so I could get around the the impulse line on it. And with that little bit of carving out on the adapter there for that, able to get this all connected, and it actually fits right underneath the hood with no other things. Kind of just cut this off because it squishes a little bit, but really haven't seen that be a problem with the running of it so far. Other thing I did right away was actually over here again. So just saying, these two parts came from, I believe it is Redbeard Saws. I believe he's out of Northern Twin Cities area there. I can't remember exactly where it is, but if you Google him and that, it's Redbeard Saws. He's got some awesome products there that fit a lot of different things, and this is just how I got to get to this point with it. Was a little bit of tinkering there, so definitely a nice thing, and change to a pace of doing that rather than the kind of paper and filters and all that stuff. Kind of seeing some nice airflow with that. Second thing I did here was, I bought these at the same time, was these are Westcoast felling dogs that I bought for the 7310. Got those added on there. And then also bought their kind of universal port muffler mod kit that I added off to the side there that I did. Again, that was pretty easy to do, to cut the hole and stuff with just a Dremel and that, with the cutting discs there, and then drill and whatnot, and pretty easy peasy. Otherwise, not much to that one either. Pretty easy. The muffler already is kind of, if you don't know, pretty much a hollow can already to begin with. And the other part is, a lot of folks, if they can, will take that screen off to help make it breathe a little bit better. I kind of chose to leave it on. Again, if a lot of folks out there will say if you take it off, it'll breathe better, and that'll be one way to help get airflow moving on your saw. So those are two simple ones there. And then on the cylinder, I did a light woods port. Actually watching a video from, I believe his name is Mitch Weber. He's, I think, down in Iowa or Wisconsin, somewhere down there. Don't actually really know, but his YouTube handle is MWEBA1, and he's got a simple, it's like a just over a half hour long how to kind of do a light woods porting on this saw specifically. So that's actually one to check out. That's what I did, was basically follow that. And actually over the weekend went pretty smooth. Didn't really have much hiccups. Great video, actually, like gave real good close-ups, shows the how-to, what it looked like before, what it should look like after. It did a great job just giving me a nice, easy practice to run through and be able to do that. And was able to do all that work this weekend, slapped it together here today finally, and did a little bit of running on it, and still kind of fine-tuning where the carb needs to be and all that stuff, but definitely feels like I can notice a difference already here, just kind of getting some adjustments done. But kind of want to tweak on that carburetor a little bit more. And then the last little mod I actually had done on this was on the carburetor. Again, Mitch Weber, I believe that's his name again. I'll have to double check if it's correct. Or I need a correction, I'll update it in the edits there, or down below in the description. He actually has done an additional video on there that talked about how to thin out the butterfly rods to kind of help add the airflow through the carb. And that was, again, with a Dremel, pretty easy to do. Nothing special there, again, from a tool standpoint. And did all those little bits, and yeah, so far kind of really enjoying doing these mods and getting it to run, and kind of so far with a few test cuts here this afternoon, seems to be running pretty dang nice. Again, as of right now, I would say this thing, time it took to actually do all these mods, probably for myself, I think in all it would have come to probably, it's solid full day, probably a full weekend by timeline, just to do some of the things that you got to do some reseals, and then the base gasket delete, I forgot. I did have a do with the base gasket delete on there, so that seal as well, using that kind of moto seal and all that, to let that make sure it cures fully and all that stuff too. So that was another modification I made, but that all those things, one full solid weekend worth of kind of just slowly progressing at it, got it all to where it's at right now. And again, I did it over the course of probably several months and whatnot, but really kind of real happy with being able to do the work myself on it, and with all these folks that had these things and make it possible, and just being able to learn and understand saws a little bit better on my own. And hey, it's kind of worth it in my book. And could I go with some other stuff? Yeah, absolutely. This kind of was my little try at it, and so far I've been quite successful. And I have to again say, like, a big shout out to all these parts that you can buy again, which go through again. The modification there for the air intake and all that stuff, those two parts actually came from Redbeard Saws. All the kind of porting and the carburetor modification came from Mitch Weber there, MWEBA1 on YouTube handle. And then Westcoast Saws for the muffler mod, universal muffler mod, and then the felling dogs. And then wrap handle I bought after the fact, realizing I wanted the wrap handle. Not really a true modification, because you can just buy it straight up that way, obviously, but super happy, and hope you guys enjoyed the video and stuff. And if it's got you curious, check those folks out and see what they're all about, because they definitely got great videos on better tutorials on how to. I'm just here to tell you what I did and how I found it using those resources, and have to say I'm pretty impressed with the ability to do the work I did, and with those folks. And with that, I will end right there.